Hi, I'm Chemda.
I'm Carrie, and we are Gilmore Friends. Welcome, everybody. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It really helps us out. And if you're listening on Spotify, subscribe over there too. Wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching, hit that subscribe button.
Okay, today's episode is called The Road Trip to Harvard.
Oh, I called it road trippin' with an apostrophe.
Okay.
As in they're straight trippin'. Why are they trippin'? But it's road trippin' with apostrophe. That's the closest we've come to getting the same. Wow.
Actually, I really like yours. And trippin' was slang at that point too.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, we're saying the slang very correctly.
We are. How did they spell tripping in the title?
Oh, no. It was the road trip to Harvard.
Oh, road trip.
So yeah.
Okay, so they straight road tripping.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And I wrote 3 alternatives.
Let's hear 'em.
One is maxed out.
Oh, very nice.
I'm not proud of myself. I'm not proud of myself.
No, I'm proud of you. That's okay, a good one.
You.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Runaway Bride.
Okay, that's probably intellectual property, but okay.
Oh, I never saw that movie because it just looked okay. And the last one, MapQuest. Gen X, holler.
Also an intellectual property, but I like it. Those are all really good.
Thank you.
We could have done a bunch of maxed out puns if we put our minds to it, I bet.
Let's not put minds to that because
I have a lot more to discuss. I don't want to waste my energy on max puns. Let's go. Let's do this.
So last we left, we were in the car. So, and I want to bring up last time that you, in the last episode, you were like, so they don't get married. And I was like, I don't know. And you got pissed, which makes me very happy because.
Good.
Yeah. Because I like you not knowing. But this time we start in the car. So were you convinced at the start of this that this isn't happening?
Yes. At the start of this, I was like, okay, so they're still driving. They didn't get to the edge of the town and realize this was a crazy idea. The episode opens with them in the car.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, they kept driving. I guess they could have still had that conversation, but I was relieved that I think this wedding is not happening.
Right. And the car thing, Lorelai is in ahead, which I totally understand. She had to make this really giant decision. Do I move forward with this so that I'm not rude, so that, I follow through with my promises? Or do I leave Max, who I'm just not that into anymore or ever was? I don't know, whatever she's going through. She's not sharing it with Rory. She's keeping everything spontaneous. And did you feel for Rory like I did? Rory looked scared in the car.
Yeah. Yeah, because Lorelai is talking nonstop about tunes. She says the word tunes 90 times. And Rory's the one where are we going? And she's like, we need tunes. There's only country radio. And she sounds crazy. I mean, she's going a little crazy. And Rory is trying to pin down what's happening. And yes, I felt really bad for Rory.
And you did mention somewhere in this episode, here's Rory being an adult, again.
Oh, the whole episode.
Yeah. And she's I wrote here risky / excited. So one of them thinks this is risky. One of them is excited. The other one is doomed / guided by faith. And here's the thing. I get that as an adult, you have to go through things and, do that weird spontaneous trip, blah, blah, blah. But because your best friend is your 16-year-old daughter, your management of emotions is now making her life even more chaotic than any other, scenario. Right.
Yeah.
Now. So.
And I don't know that she's guided by faith. I think she's guided by fear.
Yes.
In this episode. And the fear is the main driver, and she's fear and avoidance, she's not facing the music. She literally left town. She didn't hide in her house. She got miles away from the quote unquote problem.
Right.
She's trying to outrun her problem.
And so much so that she calls Sookie from the car. Apparently she didn't even tell Sookie. And I guess, like, she's telling her that morning, like, when else is she going to say? That's when she
that
decided.
was the painful. Oh my God, the visual of the cake. Oh my God.
I was ready to say look up, because if you didn't see that cake.
Oh no, they made us see it. But it's like 9 tiers. It's like she must have spent days working on this cake.
And what I found out about wedding cakes, I thought, like, you bake the wedding cake the day before because it's fresh and it's whatever. But it turns out these wedding cakes are done a week or two in advance. Like,
oh yeah,
a lot of stuff is done in advance. And I didn't know cakes could stay fresh, for that long. But in order to make this elaborate a cake, you had to know Sookie. Sookie was like, oh, I forgot about the cake.
Yeah.
Sookie.
I mean, Sookie's trying to protect her feelings and trying not to make her feel bad. If I was Sookie, I'd be like, what happened? I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't be like, damn you, I made the cake. Right. But I would have demanded to know what happened. She's my best friend and she's leaving town for some reason. And like, this is the first time hearing of it. The wedding is literally days away. I'd be like, are you okay? Where are you? I'm coming to, like,
but
what
she
happened?
Asked that, and it was like so clear. First of all, Sookie's at work. So whether she's working on the cake or not, she is to be at work. Not that they don't chat during work, but one of Lorelai's responses was, I don't know, but we all love Max. And to figure out exactly what happened, you'd have to dig up Freud himself and have him work on me full time. To me, that says, I'm not talking about it right now.
I don't know.
So,
right. Yeah. I mean, and Sookie's emotionally intelligent enough to be like, okay, and like not make her feel bad about the cake, even though she starts slicing up pieces of it while she's still on the phone.
I gotta say, every time she slices up, because I've watched it a million times, every time I'm like, don't slice it yet, because this woman Lorelai goes back and forth all day.
Yeah, but you can just take that tier off the bottom. Like if she goes back and forth by the end of the day, you still have 5 more tiers of cake.
Yeah, I'm not making a new tier if you go back and forth.
No, if you go back, you just have a shorter cake. That's it.
Yeah.
And do the tiers from the bottom up so you can just bump it down, right. Not from the top down. Like, I mean, Sookie did the right thing. She's starting from the bottom.
It was such a lemonade moment, because now she's just giving it to the people who work with her and she's just sharing it. And she has such a good attitude about it, which I think, like, what else are you going to do about it? You can't demand for her to express her feelings at that moment. You can't demand even money for the cake, or like, what are you going to demand? There's nothing you can do.
No.
Yeah.
I would have been freaked out. I would have been like, what,
Although I do think Sookie's not freaked out, because in every other time that they spoke about Lorelai's men situation and dating situation, Sookie's like, yep, you're running away. Like, this is
and Sookie's been the one who's does. Like, you like Luke. Like Sookie has like a smile and a wink about like Luke did this and Luke did that, and like even Emily kind of knows that like Lorelai and Luke are kind of edging.
I really enjoy all of the Sookie faces around the Luke and Lorelai situations when they're there. Like, even when she was at the Bengals concert and they're talking about Rachel, Sookie's like, who is his type then? Oh my God, we're doing this.
I know.
Yeah. So, and the other thing about their road trip, and this is like a side note, but do you know what a Hayden's Nut House is?
Hayden's Nut House.
Because they stopped at Hayden's Nut House, and Lorelai says, like, if she was a rock star, she would make the bus driver stop at every Hayden's Nut House. And I had to write down the name Hayden's Nut House, because I'm like, is there something I'm missing about this thing? I've never heard of it on road trips. We've both been on road trips. Have you ever
No. Is it a New England thing? I haven't done a lot of road trips in New England, but
we've done some.
Yeah.
I've been to Connecticut, Westchester.
I don't know. Was it a 2000s
New
thing?
Hampshire?
Was it? I don't know.
I don't know, but
I mean, I know. I got to know my truck stops pretty well doing road trips across the country. There was Loves and Pilots and Flying J's. Oh. And we had our favorite. Each road trip has its own favorite truck stop that we just get into that brand. There's a new one since I was road tripping called Buccee's, which is super big in like Tennessee and like.
I heard about Buccee's. There's on the road from Philly to New York. there's a sign that says Bucky's is 600 miles the other way. And I'm like, you have a sign here for something 600 miles?
Yeah.
But people are so into Bucky's.
People are super into Bucky's. So like someone figured out the branding, you know, and it's super mega branding. But in a way that like Loves and Flying J's did not do.
But I never heard of any of them. I only heard of Bucky's recently. And it's like.
It's a recent one.
Apparently you have to stop there every time.
Yeah, it's a cult. Yeah.
I've been to one where I didn't know they were named something that I'm supposed to remember. I've been to one where I realized what a real truck stop was, and I learned about lot lizards and things like that.
Yes.
And this truck stop, first of all, was huge. You can genuinely get everything in life from that place, including a shower.
Yes.
And I was like, whoa, you could shower by putting coins in and like.
Yeah, the coin showers.
Wow.
Yeah, I loved it. I know. And you could get, there was like clothing and like,
yes,
I mean, food, obviously, but there was also like a tiny diner that you could like get something like cooked up for you. And then there was like food that could heat up on its own in your truck. And like, all kinds of like cords and adapters, anything you can plug in. And CDs. Yeah. Books on tape, all of it.
Do you know that back before digital music, I had this comedian friend who said that if you get into a truck stop with your album, you make tons of money on that.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it was like one of the ways that stand-ups got their
That's a really good idea. Yeah. Because they want anything to listen to. Yeah. That's amazing. That's a good idea. I should do that.
You should. Oh my God. Carrie has an album. Tell me.
I have an album. Yeah. Go listen to my album.
It's really good. It's called Cry Through It.
It's called Cry Through It.
I think that's one of the greatest titles you could name your album.
Thanks. It's a reference to one of the bits. Listen and tell me which one it is.
Yes. Okay. I know we deviated, but I had to tell them. Okay.
Finally, we get to a bed and breakfast. I was going to call it an Airbnb, but that's not an Airbnb.
Oh my God. As I wrote the notes down for this, I had to delete the word air so many times. I know.
We just don't see B&B. B&B stands for bed and breakfast, breakfast. And the whole point is that you sleep somewhere and then they make you food in the morning. It's in the title. The word breakfast is in there. We're coming back to that.
Why do people hate B&B so much? Like, what is the problem?
I love a B&B.
They were so anti B&B. Meanwhile, like Lorelai runs an inn. Like, how different could that be?
So she runs an inn. So she gets it. She gets what it takes to run a smaller inn. I don't understand why she's so weird.
I don't know.
At this bed and breakfast.
I stayed at a bed and breakfast one time, and I really didn't know the difference between a hotel and a bed and breakfast. It sounded quaint. It was in someone's home, but it was like, separate things and stuff. And so that you were basically at their breakfast table in the morning. Their eggs were from their chickens out back.
Yep.
I think that might have been the greatest eggs I've ever tasted.
Yes, some of the best meals I've ever had was like a bed and breakfast of like an old couple that had been running it for decades.
Yeah.
And this is what they came up with. And they've perfected every little detail. Yeah. But you're basically, you're at their table.
So there's something a little uncomfortable about that because your table manners sort of change. But I wasn't like, ew, get these people away from me.
Yeah. And if somebody beckoned me to look at a hummingbird, I'm going to look at the hummingbird.
The sweetest
What kind of jerks don't want to see a hummingbird?
I don't
It beats its wings 100 times a second.
Yeah. And here's like a couple just welcoming you into their vulnerable thoughts about birds.
And I've been to B&Bs where the decor is over the top floral and I don't say anything.
It's part of the experience.
You're like, all right, it's not how I would decorate a room, but it's not my hotel.
You're not moving in. And also, this is the first time I had this thought. Lorelai goes in and goes, "Ooh, that's a lot of flowers." I'm like, that's how you were proposed to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. Oh, not yellow daisy enough for you? Oh. Now you don't like flowers.
Right. Now
that's a good point.
And by the way, she goes, "Oh, are the flowers moving?" And LaDawn, the Airbnb person, was like, "No, but I put, what was it, like
gold foil or something in the thing?" So like this woman took a lot of pride in this decoration. You just don't crap on it. Like, be
So
polite.
weird.
It's just basic manners. Like, once she leaves the room, you can be like, this room is over the top. But to her face, you're like, oh, pretty. Thank you.
Right.
What the heck?
Now, she's way over the top as soon as they walk into the B&B. First of all, you wanted to skip going to the B&B when you found out it was called the Cheshire Cat. Meanwhile, you got Hello Kitty everything as gifts for your wedding.
Also, you don't have a plan B. If you don't sleep here, what are you going to do? Rory is correct. I don't want to sleep in a car.
And I'm hungry.
Then they can't get food because there's people there.
They can't get food because they are the rudest people here. Because people might ask them about their lives and make chit chat and small talk. These people might be lovely. Also,
you can be graceful enough to exit small talk. If you want to. Hi, nice meeting you. We were on our way out. We have reservations. We gotta head out, but nice meeting you. Bye.
Yeah, we actually wanted to step out before it got late, but we would love to chat with you later. How late are you staying?
Right.
Oh, 2 nights? I'm sure we'll keep running into each other.
We'll run into you again. Night. Yeah. There's ways to gracefully exit small talk rather than like hide in the room starving to death. What are you doing? Weirdos.
A fuzzy certs. You're gross.
Oh, that was so gross. What did I write down? It tasted like keys.
That was accurate.
Like, ew, Lorelai, you're so grody. It's so gross.
And then also just more along the lines of Lorelai. Now, Rory was pretty polite, even though she was cringy. Here's the thing. Rory doesn't like chit chat. She doesn't like talking with people. She's pretty shy. So I can understand her discomfort. She's also 16, but Lorelai was the rude one.
Yeah.
And then LaDawn was over the top, the innkeeper. She's like, would you like to ring the bell?
Yeah, she was over the top. And like,
you didn't get to ring the bell. Would you like to ring the bell?
And like, I
don't care for eclectic. I don't think, and other B&Bers do either.
Yeah, she was over the top. But either you play along and you ring the bell and you pretend it's the most exciting thing that's ever happened to you, or you say, no, thanks. And like, Rory said, like, maybe I'll ring it later or something. Like, she deflected. And like, I thought that was way more graceful than like Lorelai being like, ew. Like, yes, that woman was really weird. The Sammy the cat was adorable. I wanted more Sammy the cat, of course.
Of course you did.
But halfway through, they're on their way to like sneak up down through dinner. They go back to the room. And I'm like, could we get back to the plot of this episode? Like it was like, I don't know, 20 minutes in or something. And I'm like, where's Max? Did anyone tell him yet? We have not covered if we have even let Max know that this isn't happening. And like, I don't know. I felt like there was too much of the B&B that I didn't care about. Did they get this location and they wanted to get their money's worth of filming there? I don't know. But like, I felt like we could have done with like 40% less B&B. How about you?
Which kind of went with the theme of avoidance. Because that made me like anxious as well. Like, when are you going to tell this dude Max? Like, as much as I did not like Max this entire time, I didn't like them together. I'm fine with them not getting married. To do that and then run away. And then on top of that, your child who you were going to put this dude in her house.
Mm-hmm.
She has to go to school and see this guy and you're running away and you don't even want to talk about it. And this was my whole, so it did make me very, very anxious. It does deviate from the small town. Instead, they're at a Cheshire Cat, another version of a small town. So when Rory tries to talk to Lorelai,
yes,
I wrote down so much.
Yep.
What did she say? Talk about, so Rory said, could we talk? We're not eating. We're not conversing with other people. We're stuck here in the room. It's 8:00 at night. Let's talk. And Lorelai's like, I thought we were going to talk about makeup.
Yeah.
Hey, you have to actually discuss this with your kid because we never saw the discussion of, hey, this dude is moving in. So,
right.
Okay. Instead of Lorelai being best friends, which she always claims, which she's always very, very proud of being best friends with Rory, she says, I'm a grown woman.
Mm-hmm. No.
Oh, you're a grown woman now?
You're not acting like a grown woman. And the whole thing, she's not acting like a grown woman.
Yeah. And I thought it was right that Rory says, "Oh, says the woman with the Hello Kitty waffle iron." Boom. Yes. We actually saw that. And Lorelai says she's earned the right not to be quizzed about her social life by her 16-year-old daughter. How dare you bring my age into this now when this whole time you're treating me like your best friend? So, and that's what she said. I felt for Rory when she said, "I thought I was your best friend."
Yeah.
And Lorelai comes back with, "When we're at a YouTube concert, you're my best friend?"
You too, but yes.
Excuse me?
Yeah, she's pulling the mom card because it's convenient for her to not have to talk about something too heavy, which is appalling. Because again, Rory is the adult, and she's like, "No, we need to talk about you're making decisions that affect my life."
Right, and she said that.
And and Lorelai is like, "Nope, I don't want to talk about it. You're a kid."
Oh,
ouch!
That hurts me.
Yeah,
it hurts me. But okay, so here's the one thing I did think of when Rory and Dean broke up, and Rory didn't want to wallow and didn't want to talk about it. Lorelai brought it up a couple of times and then dropped it. But it's like she didn't give Rory the grace of like, "Hey, you're a kid and I got to manage your emotions. And I can't get angry with you for bringing something up that's very, very much affecting your present, not even just your future, your right now."
Right.
So the only thing is, they went to sleep at 8:00 and Lorelai, I feel like she finally relented and said, "I'm sure. I wish I did love him. You have no idea how much." And
I wrote that down. I wish I did love him. And I think it's because the lights are out and like now it's dark and she can like clear her head. You know how like you talk better like somehow in the dark when you're both like facing the same direction?
Yeah. That's a good one.
So then she finally says, "I wish I did love him," I
didn't think of that. It's a lot less vulnerable, isn't it? In the dark.
Nobody can see your face and like you don't have to, I don't know, you don't have to be on as much in the dark. So I think like that finally let her say like, "I wish I loved him." But like, I wish she'd thought of this before making a cake and before he was selling his place to move in.
Oh my God, that's right. He's selling his place.
Or at least painting it. He didn't actually say he was selling it, but he's painting it. So we assumed he was selling it. But like your decisions are affecting so many more lives.
But it's not, even if he's not selling it, he had to have put it on the market because their wedding was this weekend.
Right. Or he has renters moving in. It's bad. I mean, it's really bad. And like in a way that Rory and Dean breaking up is not that bad.
Right.
It doesn't ripple out to affect, half a dozen lives.
Here's the thing is respect for canceling it anyway. Because
canceling a wedding is the hardest thing you can do, but it does beat the alternative, which is being in a marriage you don't want to be in.
And so, let the ripple effects happen. Let people be disappointed. Let the cake be given to other people. Like they have to get over it. I like crazy respect for people who actually do indeed, after the deposits are in, you actually cancel your wedding. It is much better and much more respectful than the alternative, unfortunately. And sure, I wish I thought of it before. I wish I made that decision before. I wish, you can go through all of that, but you can do that for the rest of your life and then get divorced, which is a lot harder.
Yes.
So
it is true. It's easier. It is harder, but easier to do, to walk away before. But a lot of times that happens because the marriage doesn't feel real until you start planning the wedding and your entire lives together. And that's when it hits you that this is the wrong person. So like, I'm not surprised it happens like that for a lot of people, is like after the engagement and you get after the thrill of being engaged wears off. And then the reality of like being with a single person for the rest of your life sets in.
You're right. When the planning starts, you're actually not just planning a wedding, but you're planning how to live together. You're planning how many kids you might have. You finally start, and I think talk about this before, but who am I? But you're finally talking about what the future is going to look like. And that might not be fitting anymore. And a lot of people get mad at each other with the wedding plans. Like, "Oh, I didn't know flowers were worth $15,000 to you.
Right.
This is how you're going to spend my money for the rest of your life.
Right. Or I didn't know that you gave a crap about your great aunt's cousin.
Right.
you know, and you're like, no, you know.
Yeah, I can't believe you're inviting that person when you know, like, they flirt with you every time. Like, why are they invited to, like, things like that.
Definitely invite people who flirt with you to your wedding.
You got to feel pretty.
I mean, you're going to be looking your best. So, like, you want, I don't even know where I'm going with that. But yeah, that's why wedding planning is, but also a lot of people get stumped where they plan the wedding and not the marriage. Right. This is what I've heard. And like, I've never been married, but this is what I've seen is that people were like, I got so caught up planning the wedding that I was not planning the marriage, which is like boring. You know, like a good marriage can be kind of boring because it is just spending the rest of your life with someone.
Right. So it's making your everyday boring decisions now with compromise.
Right.
Now with like someone else's opinion that's very important.
Right. And it's not as fun as picking flower colors, you know?
Right. And overspending and
overspending and hanging out with like
cakes.
Your great aunt or whatever.
And also, by the way, this is Max's second engagement that didn't go through. Do you remember when he was stuck in Stars Hollow, they asked each other if they've ever been married or engaged or something like that, any long-term relationships. He said that he's been engaged, but it didn't follow through, but he still believes in love and all that.
I don't believe anything that came out of that man's face. I don't even know if that was true. Is that who taught him how to make pasta? Whatever. Okay. Was it only once or have you been engaged 16 times? I don't know.
Yes, feed me the hate for Max. I love it.
And we're back. We had a little glitch there, but we are back now.
And I was loving the hate that you were giving Max. Throw it at me.
Max stinks.
It feels so good. I don't think I liked one thing that he did. I mean, down to the ring pops. That might have been his best scene. But anyway, so Lorelai is still on her runaway trip with her daughter. And they hated the hummingbirds. They hated the people. And now they find themselves stuck. Like, they're sitting there having a conversation. But excuse me, they're having a conversation with people who are interested in their lives. And there's so much disdain for that. And I understand.
Why?
I understand hating chit chat, hating small talk. But like, these are such nice people. And all they're doing is asking about your life. Lorelai is lying her face off. She says she's
publishing. She's in publishing. And then she's like, I publish stuff and the stuff and then children's books. And then she makes up the name of a child. Like, why?
I have to say the children's book. It's Goodnight Spoon, which now I want to write Goodnight Spoon.
Oh, it's been written, I'm sure.
Right.
Should we Google it? All right, later, not now.
Later.
But
the horse that wanted to bark. And then she says he dies. Here's the thing. There are some correlations, which is really weird. And as like we mentioned in one of our lives that Carrie would be a really good TV writer because you see all the stuff that's going to happen and you can call out the stuff that like isn't. I don't know. There's something magical about the way you watch TV. So I'm really enjoying this with you. But so I know you hate compliments. Whatever. Get over it.
But it's because of shows like this. I'm saying like, if I know what's going to happen, it's because of 25 years of TV writing that came before me. It's not that I could write it. It's just that certain things happen on TV shows.
True. And so here's me comparing, again, this show to Sex and the City. Carrie tries to make friends with her Mr. Big's ex, who turns out is in publishing. And since she's a writer, she's like, oh, easy. I'm going to get a meeting with her and pretend I wanted to write a book. Turns out this woman works with children's books. She makes up a book on the spot. And just like Lorelai, she's a terrible writer. She's a terrible liar.
Yes.
And she makes up a book about a little girl smoking a cigarette. So it's okay. Make up some stuff ahead of time. Do a little bit of research if you're going to be lying, you know, especially if you're a bad liar. Anyway, she talks about the horse die. It's terrible. And she ends up leaving her daughter.
No, she abandons. And I think in the watch, you were like selfish because she leaves Rory and like these people are not mean.
They're not.
Like, you could be left alone with these people and survive. It's not that big a deal. But Rory looks at Lorelai as if she's been left like in the desert without water. You know, she's like, no.
Which I can understand from Rory's perspective. She's a shy kid. She's not used to small talk. She hasn't really made any friends besides Lane. She's making friends with like the haterade that is Paris and the posse. So she's not really used to it. At the same time, yeah, you remember when she first met Dean and she's like, Chicago, Oprah. Like, she's not, and she's new to interacting. She's the one who needs to get up. Lorelai needs to eat it. But no, Lorelai gets up.
Lorelai's the one who's used to dealing with strangers all day at her job. She should be better at small talk. She should be better at lying when you work a front desk. Just saying.
That's true. She runs an inn.
Yeah, she runs an inn. She talks to people all day, all night. Like, that's her job.
Specifically, these people who are sleeping outside of their home, who are tourists, who are
travelers, you know,
who are looking for small town.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in Lorelai's small talk, and I'm disappointed she couldn't just sit and enjoy a scone. And I know she's not up for small talk, and her brain is short circuiting because she just left town suddenly. But like, pull it together. But she does sneak off and pulls out her phone. And I was like, oh, who's she calling? Because there was a second where I was afraid she was calling Chris.
Me too.
The last time she snuck off to make a phone call, and I don't know who she's calling. She was calling Chris. So I was like, are you calling Chris? Don't be weird. And then I was
hoping that would be your response. I was waiting for you as we were watching to go, think she's calling Chris, because I thought that the first time around as well.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't. No, you don't.
But I also thought she might be calling Max to tell him she's not marrying him.
Mm-hmm.
Because as far as we, the viewers, have seen, she has not told him yet.
Yeah. Did she tell him? Is she running away? Because she didn't tell Sookie until the drive. And Sookie's the one telling everybody. Is Sookie calling Max for her?
Right. Did Miss Patty have to tell Max?
Right.
Did Max hear it through the grapevine?
Is he going to hear it in school? Is he going to show up? And
is Max still at their house?
Oh my God, that's right.
No, he's not still at their house. He can't be.
No, he stayed for the weekend, but he had to go back.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
But he's going back to tie up loose ends to come live with you and your child.
So he's packing up like dishware, and you're like, Miss Patty, tell Max I'm not marrying him. So she picks up the phone, and I'm like, okay, now we get to see the Max breakup, you know.
But instead, we get to see, I'm sorry to say, one of my favorite Luke moments. And these moments with Sookie, who's always like, I see you. And she's always very cute about it, very friendly about it. And so she's on the phone with Lorelai and letting Lorelai know, the whole town knows. And we talked about this because you brought it up. Luke doesn't always get the information.
Right. And she kind of explains that. She's like, he's such
a loner.
He's a loner. Right. So he's not tapped into the town gossip chain mail thing that happens.
Yeah.
So
before that, he
doesn't know that.
He's fighting with your favorite dude. He's fighting with Kirk about like, he's had so much coffee. There are no refills. Get out of here.
Right.
You know,
but
all this stuff.
This is to establish that Luke is cranky. And then Sookie is still on the phone with Lorelai, and she's like, I don't know what she says, but the information gets to Luke that the wedding is off. And then we get to see Luke totally happy, and he's happily refilling Kirk's coffee, and he gives coffee to the whole place on him. Coffee's free today, which isn't that much of a leap because coffee's like 6 cents a cup when you brew it wholesale. But anyway, so he's like, coffee on me today, everybody, because he's delighted because the girl he likes is no longer getting married.
Which, okay, so I know that in shows they're like hinting when people like each other, and it's like, ooh, that can go either way. We can think that they like that person, but this is so obvious.
Well, yeah, they've made it obvious.
But this, you know, there's a lot of stuff where it's like, oh, you know, he's just being a friend, you know. Yes, he shut down the diner, but Sookie offered her car when she first needed money. Like, friendship is running deep in this town. They do a lot of things for each other. Luke allowed Taylor to close for him, you know, and he doesn't even like Taylor. So, but this was clear. You're happy that she's not getting married.
Yes,
How cute.
the night and day of Luke's deep emotions are evident right now as we find out that he finds out. Yeah.
And maybe this is my toxic head from the 90s and 2000s from growing up. I'm like, ooh, I really like happy Luke. I like when the grumpy guy gets happy for a second.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
Yeah, they're just like this and I'm like, that's cute. But so is when you get happy, but then you go back to just being like a grouch. There's something about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I am broken. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's fine. But we now has a whole different vibe because we are at the gates of Harvard.
Yes.
They have decided, or Lorelai has decided to surprise Rory by bringing her to Harvard.
Which makes so much sense.
Yeah. Have you been at those gates? I've stood at that corner and looked up. It's impressive. Like you feel the grandeur of this institution.
No offense, but why were you there?
I went to Harvard for a few years.
Sorry to laugh. But...
I majored. Yeah, why are you laughing? I majored in hair styling.
Yeah. You're just as good as Lorelai at this.
Yeah, I wrote a book called "The Horse Eats a Spoon and Poops Out a Fork
and then dies."
Oh, I heard that one. But I wrote that while I was a professor at Harvard. When I said I went to Harvard, I meant I went to teach at Harvard.
But like, why were you there?
I don't know. Boston. You're in Boston. I'm visiting friends. I'm on tour. I don't know.
Right.
Eventually, you end up in front of Harvard. If you're in Boston long enough. Yeah. I don't know. It's
Did you go inside? Did you?
No, I'm terrified. It's intimidating. It really is. Like I felt Rory's. I mean, it's an ancient institution, and it's one of the first higher learning institutions that has lasted hundreds of years. It's amazing, and you feel that when you're standing there.
I also know that you felt Rory a little bit before that when she was hiding the map and Lorelai found out, and then Lorelai's just like crumpling the map. That traumatized me. Okay, so are you on Team Lori or Team Lorelai for the map folding scene? I think when I was younger, I'd be like, stop being such a square. But I think all of the me saying stop being such a square was me punching myself in the face. Like, it's fold it nice so it could fit nice. Like, do the right thing. But I think that I was my own bully for a little too long. And I did not allow for myself to do, quote, square things so that I
in your world,
like, cool
folding
girl.
Up a map properly is square. And the right way, if you're not a square, you just crumple it up.
Because you're like, not concerned about the little thing. Like, who cares? Like, we're just cash.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was a jerk. Yeah. And I didn't enjoy it. Like, when you do that to yourself and to other people, you take away actual nice things from your life. It's so stupid.
So I think that's the most hateful thing Lorelai's done on the show so far is to disrespect the folds of the map and disrespect her daughter. I was a map folder. And when we had the giant paper map, I just dropped something. When you have the giant paper map and you're on one tiny piece of it, you can fold the map in such a way along the crease lines that just shows the section you're on, if that makes sense. But when you are putting the map away, it is not that difficult to fold it along its original creases to make it the map that it was meant, the meaningful folds in a map.
Sometimes I wonder if we would fight or be best friends if we met in high school. And in my mind, retroactively, I'm not as big a jerk. So I decided that we were friends. But
I mean, I did many a road trip with the non-folders. Yeah. And when we would just switch, like she would take over driving and I would just refold the map. We didn't fight about it. I'm adamantly fighting about it now because you asked. But like,
don't you all want to be Carrie's friend?
But if we were driving and you were like, here's the map, like, I don't think you would necessarily crumple it, but you might fold it askew and then I wouldn't have it. When we switched, I would just fold it properly.
I would probably lose patience and then pass it to you and go like, be Carrie for a second.
Right. You would claim that there's no way to fold it up And I would say, yes, there is. And you'd be like, fine, you do it. And then I would do it really quickly. And you'd be like, you're a square. And I'd be like, you're damn right.
And I would super thank you in my head and not be able to be vulnerable.
And then I'd be like, let's fight over music instead.
Yeah.
And then we could do that.
We should road trip.
We should road trip. I mean, I'm a good road tripper. Like, no.
I think so.
You know.
Yeah.
But no, it's things like that I think like we wouldn't have fought about it. I was never like mad at anyone. I was just like, oh, how dare they claim there's no way to fold it? It's easy. Just, I was into origami too. Whatever.
Oh my God. Oh.
All right. So let's move on from my OCD, my delightful OCD.
Yes.
But it's not. It's just, why would they make them? Okay, forget it. No, I'm not talking about it.
Okay. So here's where I think Lorelai's sort of rebellious, obnoxious, rude stuff comes in handy to her introverted, shy daughter comes in, because Lorelai a lot of times gives Rory permission to just like be, and she pushes it too far, but I like that Rory's like, okay, we saw it, we got to go. And Lorelai's like, no, we're going in. And you see the panic in Rory, and you enjoy it so much when Lorelai's like, no, I'm not going to let you be square. Right. I'm going to push you a little bit. I'm going to push your boundaries a little bit so that you can actually have this day where you don't have to follow the rules. So I think of that when I think of like, when I think of parents, and a lot of times, when we were kids, they would tell us things like, this is going to go on your permanent record. And that stuff scared me. I didn't want to get in trouble. And I see the kids now, and what I want to tell them is like, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. And I think parents are loosening up a little bit and letting them know. There was a lot of when I went to school, and, some of your teachers are a joke, and I would come home and be like, Mom, we cannot take this person seriously. I know I'm a little child, but if you were there, you would know they're not teaching well. They're kind of like, this person's a buffoon. You have these teachers that were like, they really should have been fired. And I'm like, I can't take this class seriously. I just can't. And it felt really good when my mom ended up like, I think in her 30s. Yeah, in her 30s, she went to community college here in New York. And, it's her second language and stuff. And she was, oh my God, I'm thinking about this and getting so happy. She goes, I remember when you told me some teachers can't be taken seriously. She's like, I now am experiencing what you meant.
Yes.
She goes, I know that I wasn't doing well in this class, so I made this teacher baklava, and I got a passing mark. And so she's like, I could see how you were saying you can play certain teachers and how they weren't appropriate or even teaching well or whatever. And I was like, okay, I'm a grown adult, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This is great. Well, she must have been in her 40s. Excuse me, if I was a grown adult. Okay.
Yeah. But it is extremely validating. Like,
it is.
And you're like, some of my teachers are really smart, but they're bad teachers. And some of my teachers are really idiots, but they're really good at teaching this one subject. And like, I started to be able to identify that. And it was enormously validating if my mom would go to parent teacher night and come back and be like, yeah, that person's a moron.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, thank you. It's not, like not all, like, I don't know what I thought teachers were, but they were like almost not people when I was a kid,
Yeah.
I'm like, you have a home life, and like, you have a crappy marriage, or you have a sick dog, or, like regular human stuff.
Right.
Didn't apply to teachers for some reason. It was really wild.
Yeah. There was this English teacher that we had, and she was so old. Who knows what that meant when we were little kids.
Yeah.
But
35.
she was so old. Yeah. And then we saw her in the mall with her mom. We're like, but she's so old. How could she be with her mom?
How could she have a mom?
Old?
I know. I think I've told you this before, but nothing hit me harder than seeing my high school French teacher on the subway. Because in class.
Wait, while you were in high school?
Yes. While I was in high school, I saw my arch nemesis, the evil French teacher. And I know that's a cliche, but it's true for a reason. I had an evil French teacher, and she was a terror in class, just mean, very mean. And I saw her on the subway, and she looked like a little old lady.
Oh, yeah.
And she was not the boss of the subway.
Right. Shoot. Oh my God. I saw my teacher on the train. Here's the thing. Because like I grew up and lived in New York years after, of course, I saw this guy, I think his name was Dr. Sambol. He insisted we call him doctor, even though he was, I mean, it looks like what's that movie where Eddie Murphy plays all the characters? He felt like a character from like the stupid practically like bumping into the wall. Like it was sad. It was sad. But what was sadder was seeing him on the train, not just once after I graduated, then years later, by the time I saw him that last time on the train, he looked disheveled.
Oh, wow.
And like just like a sad existence. I was wondering if he was homeless, unhoused. Excuse me. Like, I don't think he was, but I was like, this is like, you know, when you're not sitting and you're just like slouching as an older, disheveled, like just, and I was like, oh man, now I just feel bad.
Right. Exactly. I'm like, now you're just a regular person and it's just sad. And like,
shouldn't have annoyed me. No,
Dr. Senior. What was Simbor?
Sambol, I think.
Sambol. I like Dr. Senior.
Dr. Senior. Yeah. You had the French teacher. I had Dr. Senior.
Yeah. Wow.
So I like that Lorelai pushed Rory.
Pushed Rory because it is intimidating. I was with Rory on this one. And I also had a mom who would be like, no, by the time they kick us out, we'll have seen it. It's fine. Who would like drag me into, you know, places where I thought you couldn't go without permission. And like, no, you could just walk onto the campus. They're not checking IDs to just be on the campus.
It's kind of sweet where you raise someone who's like, no, we don't want to get in trouble. But at the same time, like you pushing their boundaries. It's so nice. I mean, I think that her walking into the area is cool. Maybe like her going into the classroom was pretty cool.
Yeah.
A little
and
pushing
then,
it, but
somebody flirts with Laura like the central casting doofy frat boy flirts with Lorelai at the message board, which back then was a physical message board with notes.
Those people looking for. I found a great job on those message boards, and that's how I got into kids' parties
at Harvard.
It was at Harvard. They were like, wanna work with children, making balloon animals, face painting, and all of that.
And you were like, do I? No, where was your message board?
I went to Queens College for a hot second. Yep. I dropped out, but it was just, I would pass by and you would just read the message boards because something might pertain to you. In fact, I think I got someone to type up I didn't know how to type. And one of my teachers required typing at the time. I didn't have a computer. Most people didn't. And I didn't know how to type at all. So it would have taken me forever. So I paid someone to type up my paper.
And you found that person on the message board?
I think so. Yeah. I
That's
definitely
so cool.
found that job. And I ended up doing it for like 12 years. So.
See? So that's why you had to go to Queens College.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
fine.
I mean,
yeah.
That's why the universe put you there, you know?
But here's the thing. When they crossed over into going to inside someone's dorm room.
I had a lot of trouble with that. I wrote it down.
I hated it.
Don't sneak into someone's room. You can look. If they leave the door open, you can look, but that's not an invitation to go in.
Yeah, they're leaving the door open. That's like, we look into people's windows when we can because you're walking down the street and it's eye level and it's like, ooh, that's what your place looks like. That's cool. We're not like standing there and researching, but you get to peek in. But she asked her to sit down and take a picture holding this girl's. I mean, you're putting your fingerprints on things. You're taking a photo. All I could scream is evidence. That's evidence you were there.
Yes. Get out of that girl's room. I was so mad at that because you're blurring the line. Like going onto the campus is one thing. Sneaking into a class, okay, whatever. But in someone's personal space.
Yeah.
No.
You're sitting on their bed. Line. She sat on her bed.
I don't want a stranger's butt on my bed.
Really? There's some people who don't put their own outside clothes on the bed. They will not sit on their own bed. And now you're putting your outside butt on their bed?
Yeah.
It's really gross. I did love, though, that she decided the dorm room's person's name is Susie. She's like, Susie. She goes, 30% chance that this person's name is Susie.
I know.
I love that. I also love how she tried young people jargon and basically used totally lame gag me and things like that. And Rory called her out. She called it kid jargon from Happy Days and the Valley Girls song. That was funny.
Nice.
But
yes.
I do want to bring back Gag Me. Do you remember
Gag Me? Gag Me with a spoon.
Yeah. I used to say like,
who started Gag Me with a spoon? Like who started that?
Somebody from Harvard. Like for sure.
Okay. Gotcha. From my ear.
From your ear. One of your students.
One of my students when I taught book writing.
But yeah, Gag Me Gently with a Spoon was one of the ones.
Gag Me Softly.
Yeah,
we should bring that back. I think people are more into BDSM now because of the internet. So Gag Me might have a different meaning on certain corners of the internet.
That is a good point. It's valid.
But I'm not going to look into that. So someone else can look into that for me.
I'm not even going to look into that on an incognito mode situation.
Oh, wow.
No. I did like the conversation that was happening in the Harvard classroom. They were talking about Stoicism and how Seneca was into luxury, and that's not really what Stoics about. Also, their assignment was Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, which I tried reading. Marcus, I love you. Love the concepts. Love Stoicism.
It's a dense read.
The first chapter is him literally just writing down gratitude. I'm grateful for this person. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful. I'm like, okay, I get that we're reading your diary and that we're supposed. So, boyfriend told me one thing because I'm like, I can't get through this book. He's like, have you ever thought of the fact that reading it is supposed to be a meditation? And I'm like, okay. So I have to at some point reread that because I do like a lot of Stoic ideals and ideas and thoughts and the way they do think of things and do things and approach life. So I will give that another go. Does anyone want to give that a go with me? We're reading Marcus Aurelius's Meditations.
Have fun. Have fun with that.
Wow.
Let me know.
Okay.
Let me know how it goes.
Okay. All right. So, but it was a good day at Harvard.
Right. So, and the point is that Rory jumps right in. The point, in the time it takes Lorelai to go to the bathroom, Rory has her hand up in the class and she's speaking because this is her world. This is academic world. This is, deep thoughts, and it's a subject she knows about. So she gets a taste. That must have been exhilarating for her.
And she seemed exhilarating. And as an actress, I loved the kind of excitement that she showcased. It was very, very, I'm still a little kid.
Yes. But I'm a little kid, but I'm also an academic genius.
And then also like she was very much giving the vibe to her mom, like, did you see me be smart? It was very cute.
It was very cute. But while that's happening, Lorelai is looking at the valedictorian board and sees the student from 1990, which we are to understand is her year, would have been her graduating year.
And she teared up a little, right?
She got a little emotional. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're understanding, that why she's emotional.
What I got from that,
okay.
That's what I got from other people who watched that, who were a little confused, and we all kind of like only came to that conclusion. So
I understood it to be that would have been like, she might have known that girl had she had a different track in her life,
or that would have been her, because she's not
or that
dumb.
Might have been her, right?
Yeah.
Or it could have been I can't wait for my daughter to be in this spot. But why was it specifically 1990?
And and it was also more sad, and I think she would have been more prideful in that.
Yeah. But it makes her, because next thing we know, she's talking about what she wants to do with her future, which makes sense because she's reflecting on the future she never had, doesn't know what she's going to do with herself, because it's hitting her that Rory's going to leave. And she jokes about getting an apartment. What?
Yeah, go ahead.
She jokes about getting an apartment nearby. But I think she's only half joking. Like, she really doesn't. She's going to be a little empty nested when Rory goes off to school.
I felt very much for her because it's kind of what we saw. I mean, there was, them leaving the B&B and all that stuff. But It was more Lane comes back from Korea. So welcome back, Lane.
Yes. See, I told you she was coming back because the opening credits gave a spoiler.
I hate that spoiled it. That's very annoying. But she saw that I think it's a really good wake up, especially because you still have 2 years as Lorelai, that you're not Rory's age. This is not where you are in life. This is where she is in life, and she will move on. And if you stop her from moving on, you're both going to be stunted, and you're going to take away her life if you don't get one for yourself. So I loved Lorelai's response to this. She could have just fallen into depression and been sad, but instead she decided to start her life and get one. I love that she talked to Luke about it. I love how gentle he was about, offering, saying yes to any help that she would want, and how sweet he was about the chuppah. And it was a really nice, and her calling Sookie, because once again, what did you think when she's like, who are you calling? Who are you calling, Lorelai?
Yeah, I also thought we're almost. Does Max know? Like we're still like Max does not appear in this episode at all, and I'm like, we didn't see. We assume it happened, I guess. Are we to assume, or is that the next episode? I don't know. Did that happen off screen? It was very weird. Every time she picks up the phone, I'm like, now she's gonna have that awkward conversation with Max, and it doesn't happen. So anyway,
the same way. I felt the same way the whole time.
Yeah. So she picks up the phone and she's like, let's do the end. We got to do it. And her side of the conversation is like, yeah, I'm excited. I think we can do it. I'm going to get a loan or something. Or she asks Luke about how to get a loan.
Yeah. I think she started the wheels and included other people, which I think sort of solidifies that you can't take it back for yourself as a thought. You know, she's putting it out there.
Right. It's accountability once you've made it public.
Yeah.
You say it out loud, makes it real to a person. Yeah. Although I've tried that method and failed. Like I've said I'm doing something to people and they're like, that sounds amazing. And then I've not done it.
Well, there's a double-edged sword with that, because on one side, it gives you accountability and somebody's going to ask you about it. So you might feel almost shamed into it for the next time you see them. On the other hand, and I think I heard Gary Vaynerchuk talk about this, it's a lot of people say, keep it to yourself, because what happens is you talk about it out loud and you kind of get that dopamine of doing it. Yes. And so you're like, well, I already got the acclaim, the joy from other people. Like, look at you. And you're like, yeah, look at me. Okay, I'm good.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because you've already put that energy out. You should just sort of keep it to yourself. It's true.
Right.
And then you can be like, oh, I've been working on this for years. People will be like, wow.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they could see it in you. So but I think for this, it's accountability. She's including a business partner. I think other than that, I did want to touch on, again, how rude Lorelai was when she filled out the LaDon's B&B comments thing.
Why would you do that?
So mean.
What was it? It was like Satan was here. What does she put exactly? This is the devil's lair. So mean, unnecessary. She runs an inn.
Right.
How would she feel if somebody left that as a Google review? The devil. What was the exact words? I know you know it.
Satanic forces are at work here.
Not cool, Lorelai.
And Rory fixes it because once again, she's parenting. And I think that the empathy runs deep here. Sat and forever am at work here. She fixed it. I mean, you can just sleep in the room and then leave. You don't have to take away LaDon's only happiness in life.
Her life's work makes you upset for no reason. You also understand what it's like to run an inn that everyone has opinions on. Relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was so rude. Unnecessary. That and the map. Not a good episode for Lorelai.
No, not.
Seriously.
I love how you're more mad at the map and the LaDon incident than you are like, you just left your man.
Yeah, well, I wanted her to leave her man.
That's true.
But I didn't want her to crumple off a map. Can we talk about slides really quickly?
Yes.
Because I think this is hilarious that not only does Lorelai, I wondered why she was holding the camera, and it was to take a photo of Rory in the dorm room, which was bad. But then it turns out that the film in the camera was slide film and not negatives. And she's showing a slideshow to Emily, and all of the photos are bad.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like performance art almost. Like that I'm going to show you all of these pictures with my thumb covering the lens. Mm-hmm. What are you doing?
I don't know. I love Emily's line. It's like I have glaucoma.
Right. Emily is very funny in this scene.
She is. She goes, this one makes me feel like I'm in your finger.
Right. Right. I think Emily is just on point. Slides are not cheap. I don't know why she would pay extra money to have her finger. I mean, that's why I think like it's elevated art that I don't get it. It's like modern art. It's performance art. Look at these unlookable.
But I can see you coming over with slides of a recent trip that you took and me enjoying it. But I don't think that your finger would be all
exactly.
over it. I think that you would put together something really nice.
And the same people, the same reason I don't like. I agree with Emily that you can't show a stack of photos because why slides are better because everyone has the same experience. Mm-hmm. When you take a picture, you pass it around and everybody experiences it one at a time. Same with showing pictures on your phone. Mm-hmm. If you're showing a picture on your phone to a group, I like when people hold it up so everyone can see it at the same time rather than passing it around and watching people have one reaction after another.
I guess now you could just mirror it on your TV and actually have a slideshow.
Yeah, so I think that's a more fun way to share images. Yeah. So I'm with Lorelai on that like I like making it because you're showing the whole room the same thing rather than passing around individual photos. It's like a pet peeve of mine that if you're in a large group and you show one person a picture on your phone and that person goes, "Oh my God." And then you have to pass that around. Right. And the last person's like, "Let me see the photo. What is it? What is it?" Yeah. Yeah. That's my thing.
I agree. And I do like that we could just mirror it on the TV now and have like a collective experience.
Yes,
very
exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
And I love that, like, I guess Miss Patty didn't tell Emily that the wedding is off. Lorelai.
Emily doesn't live in Stars Hollow.
I know, but it's like then you make a phone call to your parent who you invited. Yeah. Emily's like, I did my hair, I got my dress, and I got you a gift. And Lorelai says, "You got me a gift already?" It's this weekend.
It's 3 days from now. I know.
It's right now.
I mean, you've got me a gift already. And then Emily's like, "Well, now you're not getting it."
I love this.
And then they go back and forth. No, you don't get the gift, Lorelai.
You don't even get to know what the gift is. Right. Okay, but I have the list of Lorelai's guesses on what the gift is.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
It's iced teaspoons.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Sterling silver iced teaspoons. It's not that. Oh, no. Sterling silver corn on the cob holder thingies.
Right. Those are great.
Tiny forks, which Emily says those are lobster forks.
Yep.
And that's it. But I just love that that's what it could be. Very specific. Iced teaspoons. Yep. Which I guess are those long spoons. Corn on the cob holder thingies. Have you ever used that? I never did, but
I have.
Of course you did. Who am I talking to?
But ours were plastic. We were slumming it with plastic corn on the cob holder thingies.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Just saying.
Yeah, okay.
But I wouldn't put it past my family. I'm sure somebody in my family has sterling silver corn on the cob holder thingies.
Not for nothing. I do love, first of all, kitchen utensils are my favorite. If I had like $1 million bazillion dollars, you would mostly see it in my kitchen. Okay. It wouldn't make its way to anywhere else but that. Okay. And I do love like a thing for everything. Right. But I do forget using things like that.
I mean, when I make iced tea, I mix it with my hand. I just put my hand in the pitcher and then I lick my hand off like a cat. And then I serve the iced tea.
Your Harvard students that?
I was, but if I had an iced teaspoon, that problem would be solved.
Guess what you're getting for your birthday?
Do not dare. Don't you dare get me an iced teaspoon for my birthday.
I do like very specific spoons. I have a little baby spoon that I use for sugar. Mm-hmm. I love little baby spoons. And I have a studio spoon because it doesn't make noise. So
I can still hear it. Yeah. No, I heard it.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you?
I'm going to ruin your spoon. I like the studio spoon.
I also have, on another side note, the list of bootleg music that
Lane got from Korea. Let's hear that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she enjoyed Korea because it was bootleg heaven. Okay, so she got.
By the way, I thought bootleg was the modifier in that sentence. Like, there's heaven and then there's bootleg heaven. And I thought that's what Lane was saying.
What do you mean?
That it was like a crappy version of heaven.
Oh.
Like bootleg was the adjective.
You were a Harvard teacher. You saw a couple different ways of saying that. Yeah.
Yep. It was bootleg heaven. But no, she meant it was
funny.
The heaven for bootlegs.
Oh, but anyway, now I want to go to bootleg heaven.
I want to go to bootleg heaven. Are you kidding? It's like, it's probably in somewhere tropical.
Oh, I love how, like, you could see everything different in this show. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so in bootleg heaven, we will find Elvis Costello at the Marquee in 1978. A barely coherent Nico doing Dora's songs in 1974. Even more barely coherent Iggy Pop doing David Bowie's song Naked in 1981. How this little girl is so into this music.
I love how happy she is. She seems psyched. She seems psyched to be back. And I'm glad that she didn't hate Korea as much as she thought, like, I'm glad she wasn't like, it was torture the whole time and I'm not talking to my parents ever again.
Right.
She was it was pretty good.
I like that she enjoyed her cousins and stuff. I also will not talk about the finances of all of her CDs because when I was her age, I was like so needing to be very choosy about what kind of CDs I bought because they were like $15 each. And you had to make like a big decision. I don't know where her money comes from, but we're not talking about money because it's TV money. We don't know where all this burger money is coming from.
Money never comes up unless you need 50 grand to go to Chilton. And then it's the entire plot. And then we don't talk about money again until we're planning a wedding. Nobody loses money on this wedding. It's fine. Nobody's mad that the wedding's off after this town-wide bridal shower. Nobody's demanding their toaster back. It just doesn't come up. It's amazing. Also, P.S. Max is dead. And like, where's Max? Wild. Does he ever appear on the show again? I don't know. Sorry, go. You were saying.
I don't know. No, I love these questions. We can do that in the prediction time.
Yep.
So we saw Kirk in this episode again. I just want to note that when she comes home, he asks her if she needs a hug, but that's just our little Kirk visualization. And of course, when we saw Kirk on screen, Carrie made the Kirk face. That's Sean.
Yeah, that's Sean Gunn. I point at him with my chin and I go, that's Sean Gunn. And then you're delighted. You're so happy.
So delighted.
You're so happy. Yeah.
So, okay. Now, I want to deviate for a second and say a big welcome and thank you to new Gilmore friends. We have new Gilmore friends.
Yes.
Patreon supporters. Hello, Joe. Welcome, Claire. Thank you so much. We hope that you're enjoying the perks of your membership. Joe said, this is a really sweet message. I'm really enjoying your podcast and hope you keep going to the end. Us too. And with your support, you, Claire, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Claire, and all our Patreon members. It really helps us keep going. And get more about the perks and the Patreon. You can find it on Patreon or you can get details on GilmoreFriends.com. Did you guys know did you dolls know we have GilmoreFriends.com? That's fantastic.
GilmoreFriends.com. It has all our links to everything, all the links in the world. All right, GilmoreFriends.com.
Yeah. And now we can get into some trivia.
Let's hear the trivia. I have a trivia for this episode.
Ooh,
but let's see. I'll do it after yours because I want to know if you spotted the same thing I spotted.
Okay. I love that. This is season 2, episode 4, of course. It's called The Road Trip to Harvard. It was aired October 23rd, 2001. So in Gilmore Land, we've already reached a little past a year. Okay. So, oh my God, did I do this right? Oh, I just wrote information. So you know the student in the Harvard philosophy class?
Yes.
So he is Masi Oka. And he was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor
for this scene.
And and a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series. For what show?
Oh my God. Heroes.
Right?
I don't know. Was that right?
Yes.
Oh, weird.
How did you guess that?
I don't know. Because he looked familiar, but I couldn't place it. And then the name sounded... I didn't watch Heroes. But like I remember when it came out and everyone was like, Heroes, yes, Heroes, that.
Well, now you're one of them.
Now I'm one of them. I got to watch Heroes. But I heard it fell off after the first season.
Wow. Well, he was the only one nominated.
That's amazing that I did that, though. How did I do that?
I don't know.
I'm a hero.
Yeah. He's also known for what? Sorry.
I don't know.
Took me a second. He's also known for his 136 episodes on CBS's Hawaii Five-0 as Dr. Max Bergman.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. Like I love.
Also, yeah.
I just love like the one-liner people who it turns out they're like so super
I like
famous.
thinking that he got an Emmy for this performance where he's like, we're talking. I don't even remember what he says, but it was great.
Yeah.
Was this his first role? Do we know? Maybe.
It could be because I think he got to LA in 2000 and this is in 2001.
Mm-hmm,
mm-hmm. So that very much could be. Oh, I think he said like, oh, no talking about Stoicism without relativism or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Something very nerdy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I love talking about Stoicism. Okay. There are goofs in this.
Goofs.
And I got them from IMDb. So that's my source. So number one, when Luke is getting Lorelai coffee, you know how he gets her a to-go cup? So, you know how sometimes you grab did you catch it?
There were 2 cups and then 1 cup and then 2 cups. And then I did catch it. You
are so weird.
I am so weird. I am definitely weird. But when the shot goes cross, I don't know, whichever shot it was, there were 2, either because you don't have the koozie and you want to like protect your hand. But then when it's the other way, there was definitely only 1 rim of the cup.
Well, look at you in today's trivia.
Oh my God. Okay. I am nailing today's trivia.
You really are.
All
okay.
right.
So there's another one. At Harvard, when Lorelai leaves Rory at the lecture hall, she says something about someone putting an aspirin in my Coke. Rory's response was, okay, Rizzo, referring to the character in Grease. However, in Grease, it is Marty, not Rizzo, who catches someone putting aspirin in her Coke at the dance.
Oh, wow.
And is it aspirin? Let's not get too deep into that.
Let's not overthink that. Yeah.
And then the last one is Rory tells Lane that she saw where she might live next year, but Rory still has 2 years of high school left, so they messed up on the timeline there.
Mm-hmm.
So little things, but like I'm amazed that you caught any of that. The last piece of trivia is we were in Harvard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where was the Harvard scene filmed?
At Harvard?
So
No.
the outside was Harvard.
Okay.
That
Berkeley.
was actually true. No.
UCLA. Berkeley.
Yes.
Wait.
UCLA.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Shut up.
Nailing it.
Wow.
So the outside of Harvard was, the outside of Harvard was UCLA. It wasn't Harvard, excuse me, because they couldn't send people on location. They had to be in LA. So the things like the dorm, the inside of Harvard was back on the Warner Brothers lot. So that was UCLA. So
cool.
All right.
Yeah.
That is my little trivia. Did I hit on your trivia or
no? Remember when they're in the bed and breakfast and they're eating scones and they're at the table with the bald guy? That guy was the guy from Seinfeld who had a female voice.
Oh my God, he looked familiar.
And I didn't look up who the actor was, of course, because I'm not the trivia person for the show, but I recognized him and I was like, how do I know that guy? How do I know that guy? And it was the Seinfeld high voice guy.
I remember him.
Yep. But now someone has to look up his name because I feel bad that I didn't.
Oh my goodness, that is awesome.
Yep.
Go Carrie.
Woohoo!
I thought I looked up those guys. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Yay. Oh, good trivia. Like you knocked it out of the park. All right. I don't think I ever said the phrase "knocked it out of the park." So there's my
that's amazing. Reference. You're such a square.
I'm so American now.
Yes, you've made it. Believe me, you.
Oh my goodness, I am so American. Okay.
I'm as American as up. It's like when a poo is doing an American accent.
Yeah.
Turns out I was American all along.
Do you have any predictions for us?
I'm Max is dead. Because why did he not appear in the show? They just wrote him off the show. Mm-hmm. Do we ever see him again? Mm-hmm. I think next episode, I'm so confused about this actual breakup. I liked this episode, but it felt like two different episodes smushed together in one. There's one episode of Lorelai and Rory going to Harvard and Rory getting a taste of what her future is going to be. And that is a single episode. And then there is Lorelai being a child and running from her problems and not facing the reality of calling off a wedding, which is hard to do and sucks. But she did the right thing by not marrying him. But now we have the audience, where is the fault? Where is the fault? Like,
so where do you think it's actually going to go, the relationship?
I mean, I don't like that you asked that.
I'm just going to ask all of it. I'm going to ask you about everybody.
I know, but you're implying that they're not broken up. You're implying that they stay together, but don't get married.
I am not implying anything.
I think you're implying they freaking stay together and don't get married. And that stinks like farts. It stinks like TV writing farts, and I don't like it. So maybe they stay together. And they're like, we just weren't ready to get married, but we're not ready to break up either. And they stay together. What
did you think was going to happen before I, quote unquote?
I think we never see Max again. Yeah. And with the plot moves, it bumps along to Sookie and Lorelai opening an inn.
Okay.
And then we're expected to just forget that Max ever existed. He didn't move in. It's not like he's got to move out his stuff. He came for a weekend 2 weeks before they were supposed to get married. Are you kidding me? This show is so weird.
Any other particular? Let's see. We saw Lane. We saw Luke. But a lot of this was just about Lorelai and Rory. So I think it's hard to predict anything aside from that.
I think ultimately the series is seven. We eventually have to either go to Harvard or decide we don't want to go to Harvard for some reason.
What do you think we're going to decide?
I think we don't actually go to Harvard.
What do we do instead?
I think we go to a different school because of some external force. Like either she meets a guy who's going to like Connecticut College or some other institution of higher learning. Or, okay, so that's a conscious choice. She's like, I could get into Harvard, no problem, but I don't want to go there because I'm in love with whoever it is in season 4, whatever. Or she has a downward trajectory and does not get into Harvard. Like she can't do it. She fails a test because she drank alcohol for the first time. So she does one shot of tequila, fails a test, doesn't get into Harvard. Her whole life falls apart. She gets a job at Luke's. And Max Ghost haunts her. This is seasons down the road, though. For now, she's going to Harvard.
Oh, my God.
But I don't think this show takes us to Harvard.
Okay. I'm just very neutral about everything you just said.
All right.
Shout out to the Gilmore Friends that are on my end of this Gilmore spectrum where we've watched and rewatched and we know where
Did all your heads explode? Did I hit something right? Or something so wrong? I guess you can't tell me.
I will tell you that my head just exploded, but I can't tell you for which side of things. And I know other heads have just recently exploded, and this will go on my head explosion list that is getting
longer and longer that I will one day understand. I can't wait. Yes. It's like waiting for Christmas.
Yeah.
You know what makes my head explode? Subscribers. I love subscribers on YouTube. If you're watching on LukeTube, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit subscribe. We like it. you like it, everybody wins.
Listen, if you're listening from anywhere, there's a button in front of you no matter where you're listening from. Please click it. That, I don't think we're kidding that it does make our head explode because we text each other back and forth like, they really like us.
I don't say that. I mean, I do. I say a version of that.
Yeah,
yes.
Of course we do.
Of course we do.
Yeah. We can't be cool.
We're not cool. We're absolutely not cool. Except that I can fold a map up. Yeah. Just fine.
So yeah.
When was the last time I even touched a paper map? Truly,
I don't know.
It's been a minute.
It has been. Yeah. I wonder if like those are going on eBay for tons of money because it's like an artifact, like a dinosaur artifact or something.
Yeah, are they still printing them? No, they must be. They are.
Yeah,
You used to get them for free at AAA. Do you remember that? Were you ever a AAA member?
I was too messy to be one. So, and they still make maps, is what we just heard.
Weird fact check. It also came with like, you idiots. Like that was
it was implied. It was in
there. But yes, no, you used to get maps for free at AAA. You just walk in if you're a member. I mean, you have to be a member, but
oh, that's good because when you picked it up, like when you were lost in the middle of nowhere and you had to stop at a gas station, it was like $15.
Yeah.
Which was a lot because, back when it was $15, the minimum wage was like $5.
Right.
So.
$15 was as much as a CD.
Right. Now you can't listen to tunes.
You gotta listen to tunes.
Square.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you all for listening.
Have a good night, Doll Square.